Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining my channel today. Today, I'm speaking with Natasha Lewis. Natasha is about to start in the Queen's Theatre Hornchurch production of Arthur Miller's All My Sons. She's playing the role of Sue in the production. The production runs at the Queen's Theatre Hornchurch from the 10th of February to the 5th of March and also plays at the new Wolsey in Ipswich from the 8th to the 12th of March. Hope you enjoy this conversation with Natasha. Can you first tell me about the production and your role within it, please?
Okay, so All My Sons, it's, as you know, wonderful Arthur Miller play. And it's really special to be doing it at Hornchurch. It hasn't been done here, I think, for over 70 years. So it's a very special revival for the building. I'm playing Sue Bayliss, who is I guess if you were going to give her a little label, she's the nosy neighbour next door.
Yeah.
She, she's small but vital role, and she's like everybody in the play is compromising within her own lifestyle and extremely unhappy. She's stuck in a marriage that isn't ideal, but then all the relationships in the play feature around lots of themes of guilt, dishonesty, um, loss, grief. I mean, it's quite clever that something with such a dark subject matter that has such a light undertone as well. Like, so you don't. I don't think you'd feel leaving the theatre. Oh God,
Yeah.
it's depressed and dark because that's not what anyone needs right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really honest portrayal of how probably a lot of people feel right now, and in a way, reaching out and saying, it's everybody. Everybody's got their stuff, but however, there is a positivity to that.
Yeah, yeah. And what was it kind of that attracted you to the role or the production?
Well, I love working at Hornchurch,
Yeah.
full stop. It's a great building, and what they've done with it I think is fascinating and amazing. But in the past, I've done Panto. I did Cinderella here, and then I did Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, big camp happy musical,
Yeah, yeah.
and then he offered All My Sons, which is completely different. But working with Doug again, I thought, I mean, it's a no-brainer, really. And it's not often you get these lovely opportunities to work in buildings that you love, doing pieces that you are really passionate about. So yeah, it was a lovely opportunity.
Yeah. And kind of, I know you kind of said she's a nosy neighbour, so this might not be a very good question, but do you see any of your kind of own qualities within the character?
Yeah, I do. I do. I not so much the nosy neighbour side.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully not.
I'm a very respectful neighbour,
Yeah.
but I do see sides of her. She's got a sadness to her, but wanting to fix her situation.
Yeah.
In her own problem solver. I mean, the way in which she goes about it might not be the most conventional, but
Yeah.
but I think deep down she's a good woman, um, but she's very direct.
Yeah.
Whereas I think everybody else in the play is very polite in how they communicate, but she's very direct and just says it as it is, which can be taken one of two ways, maybe. And I feel like, yeah, I can be pretty direct, and I think I'm very much on the positive side most of the time, where if there's a problem, there's got to be a way to solve it rather than there's a problem. Oh my God,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all going wrong. So I do get that side of her definitely.
Yeah. And why do you think this kind of piece is lasted, I suppose? I mean, obviously it's good writing, but
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing, isn't it, that some writers can make things relevant. Like I've done Threepenny Opera, I think 4 or 5 times now
yeah.
in various different ways, and how something like that is always current, no matter when it was written. And I think this is absolutely the same. Is that all of those characters are relatable.
Yeah.
somebody. There will be someone in there, if not more than one, where every member of the audience will probably feel at some point, I've been there. I know what you're trying to do. I get you. And I think that's what makes something so current all the time,
Yeah.
is writing characters that are true.
Yeah. And kind of, did you have to do any kind of research for the role? Can you look back to any of the past productions? I guess that's probably not a helpful thing sometimes, but
No, I didn't do too much. I did watch the live stream on the National Theatre, which was from the Old Vic with Sally Field and Bill Pullman,
yeah.
just to get a feel of sort of how they did it and what sort of vibe it was, and then I kind of left it alone and waited until we'd done a few days of rehearsal, and then I went away and sort of thought about, because on paper you can read Sue as a comedic busybody,
Yeah.
which is great fun to play.
Yeah.
However, there's more to it than that, and I think my natural thing was to go for the comedy and make her as brash as possible. But then I realised that's not doing her that much justice, because she's more interesting.
Yeah.
And then finding the reasons why she's doing the things she does was more intriguing to me for this character, and that's something I've spent a lot of time on, is looking at why she's saying everything she's saying rather than the humour of what she's saying.
Yeah. And you've obviously kind of mentioned it already, but returning to Hornchurch, what is it that makes it so special?
I mean, they're just banging out production after production.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a flagship for their area. They serve their community incredibly well, and they're incredibly loyal. And I think certainly since I've started working here, which my first time here wasn't that long ago, it was maybe 2015.
Yeah.
It's just gone from strength to strength, and the bravery of putting on thought-provoking productions, but also, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a classic play or anything in particular. It's just across the board they push the boundaries of what may have been here in the past, and which is not a bad thing either. But I think it's just become a very exciting producing house.
Yeah, I would agree, because like I say, when you look at their program, you can the variety of shows you kind of see very strong. But obviously, I know we kind of mentioned at the start the pandemic, but do you think that's kind of changed how you approach your work at all?
Yeah, well, it's funny actually. Yesterday I had an audition in town for the first time, singing in an audition in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And I was really nervous.
Yeah.
Whereas before that was just second nature. You just do it and then you go and then you do your thing.
Yeah.
But I think what the pandemic has done is made everybody very cautious to keep each other safe, but at the same time more determined to make sure we put on work, especially seeing as, I mean, we all know our industry has been one of the worst affected by the pandemic, and it's been catastrophic for a lot of buildings and a lot of actors and creatives and producers. So I think the camaraderie that's come about in the pandemic has been extraordinary in the theatre industry, and I think everybody's come back incredibly determined, and at the same time, all the measures being put in place, certainly in this building, they are incredible with the way they've dealt with the COVID measures, but also without making anyone feel, because I think that's the worry, being a member of a company and worrying that if you get the virus, you're going to be the reason the whole thing comes down. And that's a horrible pressure to have on anybody. Because we know how hard the buildings have worked to be where they are right now, and you don't want to be the reason that doesn't happen. But they've been, again, so wonderful about reassuring everybody, don't worry, it'll all be dealt with, just get on and make the work, and let's have a great time. And I think it's made us more appreciative of each other, definitely, and more stubborn.
Very good. And say if I was Arthur Miller now, and you were interviewing me, what one question do you think you'd ask him?
Oh, I'd like to know. Oh, that's a really good question. What would I ask him? I would like to know if he was to write a sequel. I don't know how to say this without giving a spoiler. Who would Annie end up with if the situation wasn't what it is?
Very good.
If she had the choice,
Yeah.
who would she be with?
Very good, very good. I can't answer that, so I'm not him.
Give it away. Must not give plot point away.
No, you can't. The big sell moment, though. Why should audiences come and see All My Sons?
I think it's, well, first, it's incredibly relevant considering how long ago it was written. It's gripping. The story just rolls from the very start all the way through. We did a stagger yesterday, and it just flies. It's gripping. It's true. It's completely relatable, and also the Queens have done a load of wonderful incentives. Certainly for like under 26s, you can have an £8 ticket throughout the run. I think people need an opportunity to see something true.
Yeah.
And it's there, and it's a beautiful story. It's tragic, it's beautiful, it's lost, and it's hopeful. It's everything.
Yeah. Very, very strong answer. I'm going to end on 5 quick fire questions for you.
Yeah.
So, what was the first piece of theatre you remember seeing?
Me and my girl in the West End.
Very good. And
Gary Wilmot.
Oh, yes. What would you say is your favourite piece of theatre that you've ever seen?
Oh God. Dead Dog in a Suitcase by Knee High, I thought was great. And I loved the Sunset Boulevard that was streamed from the Leicester Curve over the pandemic.
Yes.
There's so many.
Yes, I would agree, because obviously I'm in Leicester anyway, so I'm biased.
Oh, it was wonderful, wasn't it?
So good, so good.
Wonderful. And one of my favourite shows. That was one of the first ones I saw as well.
Yeah, very good. And what would be one thing on your bucket list?
What, theatre bucket list?
Anything.
Any bucket list.
Any. You can go big.
Swim with the great white sharks.
Okay. Rather you than me.
The thing with the sharks.
Yeah.
I find them fascinating. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Okay. Well, if there's no one's watching, we can arrange it. There you go. So, you never know in these worlds.
Or travel the world. Both.
You can do it on the way, you see. You can just
stop off.
do it around the world. There's a TV series and that. It's like traveling sharks.
Oh my God, that's such a good idea.
Netflix.
We should make that.
We should. We'll get on that. We'll write that. And if you could have dinner with any 3 guests, this is always a tough question. Who are you inviting?
Dead or alive?
Either or. It makes
3
it harder.
guests. I think I would like to have dinner with Stephen Sondheim.
Yes.
Dawn French.
Yes.
And who's the bloke that plays Captain America? He's pretty fit.
Oh no, I've never seen it.
No, we won't say that. No, not him.
I've never seen it, so I can't tell you.
I will go with Joseph Fiennes.
Strong. Yes.
Handsome, but intriguing.
Yes.
I mean, Shakespeare in Love was one thing, but The Handmaid's Tale, what are you doing?
Well, I've never seen it,
Awful
so
man. Oh, it's great. It's great.
I'm rubbish with telly, so don't ask me. Don't ask me about telly. I'm useless. And the final question would be: what would be the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Don't procrastinate. My
Good.
dad always said that. Don't
Very,
procrastinate and go with your gut.
yeah, very good.
It's always right.
Yeah, that is true. It's true. But yeah, that leads me to end on that because that's a good note to end on.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
thank you for your time. Hope the
Thank
production
you for
goes
having
well.
me.